Well, good afternoon, Alex. This is the sixth day of cancellations for P&O Ferries. It's reportedly costing them more than £1 million a day. And that is after the company sacked 800 workers via Zoom, effective immediately. Indian seafarers are reportedly being paid £1.80 an hour, as you say, Alex, in ports like Dover. That's according to unionists down there. And there is so much feeling around this situation. I was speaking to you yesterday with those protests outside Westminster, not very far from here. And I'm now outside the business department in Westminster, and that's because it is deadline day for P&O Ferries to get back to the business secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng. Now, he sent a letter on Friday, a very strongly worded letter to the CEO of P&O Ferries, and in it he outlined the government's anger and disappointment about the way that they have handled the redundancies. He also makes a point about P&O Ferries claiming British taxpayer money for the furlough schemes. He says it's particularly depressing that millions of pounds of British taxpayer money has gone to support P&O over the past 2 years, but they still do not seem willing to abide by the rules that have been put in place to protect British workers. He then goes on to ask the CEO of P&O Ferries 10 questions. He asked them the exact number of staff that they have fired, whether any consultation took place with those members of staff, how they came to this option, were there other courses of action that were considered, and if so, why were they rejected? And he also asks if there are any plans in motion for this to happen to other members of UK staff, and he makes it very clear that no other similar action should be considered. Well, Kwasi Kwarteng asked for those answers to be on his desk behind me by 5 p.m. this evening. Well, Alex, what happens when those answers come back? Well, obviously it depends on what they say, but Business Minister Paul Scully has warned that P&O Ferries could face prosecution if they're considered to break the notification law. That's when they're supposed to tell the Secretary of State if they're going to make more than 100 people redundant, and they could face criminal sanctions and an unlimited fine if that is the case. Well, Alex, we're expecting P&O to take their full length of time, and we're expecting not to hear very much before 5 p.m. But with just over 2 hours to go, that clock is certainly ticking on that deadline.